Hey, Tony Gaskins here. You know, I seen this headline about Tom Brady and Gisele Bundchen. And sometimes I like to draw lessons, not talking about those individuals, but just kind of related to everyday life. And here's some lessons, that I pull from this is, one is you have to know who you are marrying. And the reason why I'm speaking on this like this is because I don't know the details of, Tom Brady and Gisele Bundchen, like if any of it is fact or not. So, but speaking of when a couple gets together, you got to look at what that person does, especially when you over the age of 25. Like, it's different when you kids. Like, me and my wife were kids, so she had no clue that I would be who I am today. Like, neither one of us had no clue. This was not the goal to be like a voice, But when you over the age of 25 or 30 and you get together and you can kind of see what a person does, you got to pay attention to that. And whatever the situation is, whoever a person is, whatever that person does, you have to multiply it by 3, because it's going to intensify, either greater or worse. It's going to get 3 times better or 3 times worse, whoever, whatever they are. And a lot of times we don't think about that because we look at right then in the here and now. We look at the here and now and we say, okay, everything is good, everything is great. But we fail to realize that things change over time. Like, everybody going to be perfect when you're getting to know somebody and you're building. And so you have to understand that. You also have to be selfless. And what that means is you're selfless toward your partner, but you're also selfless toward yourself, in the sense of it don't really make sense in the real sense of the word, but meaning you still got to be all out for your dreams and your goals, and you got to support your partner in their dreams and their goals. So you can't ask someone to sit down. You can't ask someone to sit down. You can't ask someone to give up their dreams, to give up their gifts, to give up their goals, if that's what they want to do, if that's what they want to pursue. And if you can't fit inside of their gifts, their dreams, their goals, then it's not the person for you. Another thing is you also got to understand the timing. And so if you see somebody does something that has a small window, then you can't base the whole rest of your life off of this small window. Like, if somebody is a doctor, that's a job they'll do until they retire. So if they're a doctor, and the type of doctor that they are, they work 60 hours a week, and that's what you do until you retire at 65 or at 55 or 45, whatever time retirement age is, then you got to ask yourself, okay, can I do this? Now, if the person is like a pro athlete or something that just has like this small window, it's like, okay, they can't do that forever. But if they got an opportunity to make a whole lot of money, change their life for generations, and that window is gonna close, then you just gotta play your role and support that person all the way through. Like, when I got with my wife, she was a biomedical science major and she said she wanted to be a doctor. But then we got pregnant and things changed. Now, she decided, for whatever reason, she wasn't really talking to me about the medical school stuff, so I really don't know where her MCAT score was, and I really don't know how the application process went. She was kind of, not that focused. She was focused and doing good, but of course not as good as you could do if you didn't have a child that was kind of like special needs, almost like needing you almost around the clock, and then got a husband of course you'll do a whole lot better without those two things, and you just could lock in and focus. So I really don't know the full process, and she kind of, you know, secretive and private about stuff. And so, but I never asked her, hey, don't go to med school, because, and then I told him, like, wherever med school is, I'm cool. Like, we can move. Like, I need a change of scenery. I don't mind getting away. Y'all got to forgive that it's raining, and so y'all, you know, keep me in your prayers. That's why I'm not looking at you. I'm just I'm all eyes on the road now, and this vehicle got a lot of safety features on this here, so but it's coming down. I'm going to pick up my son. So I never asked my wife, like, hey, don't do this, don't do that. And even now, like, she understands what I do, you know, and who I am in the world, and then just where I'm at. And so I get emails from organizations. I get emails to hey, go to another continent. And she's like, okay, cool, do it. Like, don't not do that because I'm invited to this event or something. And so, like, this weekend, she got invited to the US Open by a friend, and for Saturday, and then on Sunday she had to be at her grandmother's 90th birthday party. But we own a suite at the stadium, and the stadium takes us on an away trip, and so that was this weekend in Dallas. So she had to be in New York, I had to be in Dallas. That's what I mean by selfless instead of being selfish. Like, we understand, like, okay, we got to be in two different places. Let's not trip about it. Let's be where we got to be, have fun, make the most of it, because we done spent this money, so we don't want to miss the trip with the football team. But then you don't want to let down, you know, your friend and her daughter who graciously invited you to go to the US Open, to the women's final. So let's make it work. And we got another conflict of schedule coming up. I got an invite to a speaking engagement, and she has to be somewhere, I think to a wedding or something. I'm on another continent, she's in another country. And that's what marriage looks like sometimes. And so we got to understand that when you get ready to get with somebody, you can't go in being codependent. And we all struggle with this. We all struggle with being codependent in seasons or periods. We all struggle with being jealous. We all struggle with being clingy. We all struggle with being controlling. Like, every human is gonna have some type of quirk, something that they do that they should not be doing. And we gotta be mindful of each other. We gotta be mindful of our flaws and what we do right, what we do wrong. We gotta be mindful of those things. And in doing that, you gotta be flexible. You gotta be flexible in your relationship, and you gotta understand that you're gonna be asked to make some changes and to make some sacrifices. And so it's a situation where, like, if somebody gets an opportunity to do something and they only can do that for X amount of years, but when they're done, when they retire from that, when that is over, y'all got the rest of y'all life, another 40 years to travel the world, to see the world. Be mindful of that. If someone is operating in their gift and it requires 40 to 60 hours a week, but yet you still gonna get to see each other, still gonna get to go on dates, still gonna get to have somebody that you could build life with, and they have the opportunity to operate in their gift, it's like, do you pass up on love to go get with somebody who only has to work 30 hours a week, but you really don't hit it off with, you really don't vibe with like that, then to be with somebody who, in the moments that you have together, could be amazing. Another thing you got to understand about marriage is that there's always seasons. Men go through depression, women go through depression. There's seasons. There's going to be rough patches where life just isn't going how you expect it to go. and people just are not acting how you expect them to act, and you're going to feel like throwing in the towel. But you got to dig deeper, and you got to really get to the root of the matter. You got to look at the heart of the person you're dealing with. You got to really ask yourself, is this person vicious? Like, is this person cruel? Like, is this person spiteful and really want to hurt me? Or is this person going through something based on external circumstances that has him or her in a mental state that is just, that they feeling down and out? And you gotta be mindful of that. And you gotta be empathetic to that. And you gotta be that person. Like, there's gonna be times in a marriage to where you gotta be the therapist, to where you gotta be the nurse, to where you gotta be the doctor, you gotta be the assistant, you gotta be the mentor, you gotta be the manager, the publicist, what have you. Like, even like me and my wife, she went up to New York and she put it on her last post. You go follow her on Instagram, you'll see her reel. She put in her caption, "Thank you to my new PR at Tony Gaskins," because she was up there and then she went to a store to have lunch and she wanted to buy something because the salespeople made her the reservation to have lunch at Bergdorf. And so she wanted to buy something just because she didn't want to ask them to get a reservation for the four of them and then not buy anything from them. And so when she was there, on the way, she was like, traffic is crazy. And she was like, oh, it's New York Fashion Week. I was like, oh. She was like, I wish I would have known. I wish I would have brought some clothes. And she was like, I was like, well, do you want to go? You want me to try to get you some shows? And she was like, if you could, that would be great. Text this one person, text another person, text another person, text another person, text another person. I'm thinking off the top, it's 5 different contacts I text. None of them could do anything except for one was like, hey, I got you. And I bartered with that contact. I say, your next service from me, which is author consulting, will be free. The cost of that service is $5,000. I say, if you could get her into a show. That contact got her into an industry-only show. Gave my wife her invite, industry only. $5,000 I bartered for my wife to go to that. It's my wife calling me now. So let me wrap this up. So that's business. That's life. That's marriage. I did that, and then I, had an extra budget to buy some clothes. Then I looked at the whole schedule of Fashion Week. I started writing designers, creative directors on Instagram. A huge show that I wrote. The gentleman, the creative director, wrote me back. It was like, unfortunately, we have no seats. Another show, another company I wrote, they were like, yes, we'll put both of y'all on the list, but I wasn't up there. So she was able to do, and then another show, I paid $1,600 for 4 tickets for them to get the front row, and then they was late and they didn't get on the front row. They had to stand up and watch from the back. $1,600. But I sacrificed. I did that. It hurt now. It hurt. Like, I did it with a cheerful heart, but I felt it. I was on my trip in Dallas with the Bucks, and I'm working. I'm PR working. I'm emailing. I'm calling. I'm this and that. I'm setting up her car service. I'm setting up, pick her up here, take her there, setting up this, setting up that. Like, I literally was her PR. And guess what? That's marriage. When I need her and I need her to, boom, it's 8 p.m. and I need her to give me some clothes from the mall before 9. It take her 30 minutes to get there. She'll get there, get me a little haul, bring her home before my trip the next day. Because last minute, I'm like, I don't like what I got to wear. She'll do that. But that's marriage. It's sacrifice. It's selflessness. It's understanding. So, hey, let me wrap this up. My wife never called me. She rarely called me. So it's probably some update about something. So God bless y'all. Want you to understand that. Get it in your spirit. Know that this thing ain't going to be easy. But know that we can make it work. So if you know this person you decided to be with and you know their heart, don't just throw in the towel and give up when things ain't going your way. Dig deep and do the work. And as long as y'all want to work, it can work. Hey, this is Tony Gaskins. God bless you. Make sure you visit TonyGassonAcademy.com. Y'all aspiring life coaches, and get that life coach certification before the price go up. God bless you. We'll talk soon.